The cell is the basic structural and functional unit of all forms of life. Let's do that again. The cell is the basic structural and functional unit of all forms of life. Every single thing that is living is comprised or formed of cells, which are the basic structural and functional units that form all of life. How crazy is that? How simple. Everything that's living is made of cells. Cheap analogy here. Legos comprised of Legos. Life comprised of cells. So each Lego block is a cell. All right. Every cell consists of cytoplasm enclosed within a membrane. Simple. Every cell has a cytoplasm. What is that? What's a cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is all the material within eukaryotic or prokaryotic cells enclosed within a membrane. So all of the widgets and organelles and this, that, and others are the cytoplasm, and they're enclosed. Kind of like if you were to have a Ziploc bag and put some soup in it, the soup being the cytoplasm and the bag being the membrane. So we have a membrane. So a membrane is a biological So I'm going to get into all these, hopefully. So I'm just going to keep reading. But every cell consists of a cytoplasm enclosed within a membrane. Many cells contain organelles, each with a specific function. The term comes from Latin, meaning small room. Cellula is a small room. Most cells are only visible under a microscope. Most. Interesting. Not all. There must be some that you can see. Interesting. I wonder which ones you can see and why they didn't say all. Cells emerged on Earth about 4 billion years ago. And what do you know? I think life emerges 3.7 billion years ago. I reckon if this is 4, then is this when life starts? Who knows? Okay, emerged on Earth, oh my gosh, has its own thing. So let's add that to the reading list. There's a term called abiogenesis. Let's add that to the reading list. All cells are capable of replication, protein synthesis, and motility. Replication, I think we all know what that means, like replicating something from one turning into another. Basically, I wonder if is it the same as cloning? Is the cell cloning itself? Are they exactly the same? Self-replication is any behavior of a dynamical system that yields construction of an identical or similar copy of itself. Okay, so. All cells are capable of replication. Protein synthesis. Protein synthesis is a core biological process occurring inside cells, balancing the loss of cellular proteins through the production of new proteins. Okay, so all cells do this. They make proteins. Proteins, for me, I'm a dude. I'm a guy. I think you think of protein, you think of protein shakes. It's that stuff that builds muscle. But I think in biology, it's not protein that makes muscle. I think it's tool. I think it's a machine. I think protein is something I need to read about. Motility, I don't know what that is. Okay, it's the ability to move. I felt like that's what it was, but motility, I would think about mobility would be the word I would use. But motility is the ability of an organism to move independently using metabolic energy. Okay, let's continue to the next paragraph. But before that, let's have a look at this cool picture. General view of cells in the growing root tip of an onion. Okay, we said onion is alive, thus it must be comprised of cells. And here we go. General view of cells at the root tip. We see this is the cellulas, little things. This is enlarged 800 diameters. nuclei preparing for, I don't know. I'm not really sure. It's not the coolest of pictures. It's kind of boring to me. But there you go. I don't know why that's, oh, I guess what's cool about it was drawn in 1900. So, or beginning of the 20th. This is a cooler one. Eukaryotic, prokaryotic, eukaryotic, cytoplasms, membranes. They both have the cytoplasms and the membranes. So there must be something that's different about them, because there's this one and there's that one, but I'm not sure. We haven't got to it yet. Let's keep going. Cells are broadly categorized into two types: eukaryotic, which possess a nucleus, and prokaryotic, which lack a nucleus but have a nucleoid region. A nucleus is a membrane-bound organelle found in eukaryotic cells. Okay. Prokaryotic cells lack a nucleus but have a nucleoid region. Okay. I want to get into this more because that's not clearing it up. I don't understand what the function of that is, but let's go. Prokaryotics are single-celled organisms, such as bacteria. Bacteria. I've heard of that. It's the stuff that you wash off your hands, and that lives on counters. But what is it? It's a ubiquitous, which means, I think, like commonplace. And it's the commonplace, most free-living organism, often consisting of just one biological cell. So these cells can just be an organism. They're like on their own. They're not part of a bigger thing. They're just them doing their thing. Eukaryotics can be either single-celled, such as amoeba. So amoeba is a eukaryote, but it's doing its own thing. Or multicellular eukaryotes, like those that make algae, or make algae. I don't know how to pronounce that right. Or plants, that majestic tree right there, blossoming. Or animals, or fungi. Okay, okay. A lot to unpack here, but let's just keep going. Eukaryotic cells contain organelles, including mitochondria. The mitochondria which provides energy for cell functions. Chloroplasts, which create sugars through photosynthesis, which is what plants do in plants. And ribosomes, which make the proteins, which is that thing. This is that. Synthesis of proteins. We meet again. Let's keep going. And cells were discovered by Robert Hooke. 1665. That would be the modern era, because it's after 1500s. Robert Hooke. I added him to the reading list. Maybe this was during the scientific revolution. Who named them after the resemblance to cells inhabited by Christian monks. Really cool. It's like a Christian metaphor. Cell theory developed in 1839, so that's the beginning of the 19th century. This is what's going on in the world in 1839. I think, I don't know who the U.S. president was, but the U.S. has recently become, not recently, but like, has gained independence. So I think has France from the monarchy. Anyways, a lot of cool stuff in science was happening in those days. Cell theory was developed by Matthias Jacob Schleiden and Theodor Schwann. States that all organisms are composed of one or more cells. That cells are the fundamental unit of structure and function in all living organisms, and that all cells come from pre-existing cells. Oh my gosh, we just learned about cells. have a good one, guys. We'll continue this later with more in-depth stuff about biology and delve deeper into the different rabbit holes that are linked on this in this like 3-paragraph intro. So have a good one.